All right, we are live. Good afternoon. Welcome to Senate Education. Wednesday, February 7th. Some people have gotten their wish. Senator Gulick will serve as chair for the next about 45 minutes or so. And we're going to talk about CTEs. We have Jody Emerson here, some students who are going to testify. Senators and others who are watching know that we are tackling the CTE issue a little bit this year. We then have Agency of Education coming in to talk about S204, and we have Susanna Davis and some folks coming in on the topic of equity. This is the Education Equity Team Pilot Project, S282 that Senator Clarkson talked to us about last week. So, Senator Gulick.
Thank you very much, Chair Campion. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
So yeah, as I was saying offline before we went online, it's been great to have students in the building today, and it's so nice to see you here. We had someone in health and welfare this morning from the Burlington Tech Center, she's a CDU student, and she's a health informatics student, so it was perfect to be in health and welfare. So very excited to have you. I'm not sure who would like to speak to us first. It says Sage Frost on our list.
She's unfortunately not with us today.
Oh, okay. Is Eleanor Johnson here?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So Eleanor, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
For being here.
So my name is Eleanor Johnson. I grew up in Barre, Vermont. Currently attending the second year of the Emergency Services Program at the Central Vermont Career Center. During my first year of the program, I really gained a passion for EMS. I was able to make a lot of connections with local agencies during my ride time. I'm currently working with both of the EMS agencies that I did ride time with during my first year, which has allowed me to work and help my community that I grew up in, and communities I've been around my whole life. I'm now in the second year of the program where I'm working on getting my paramedic license, which is something that a lot of people have to wait much longer to do. So the Central Vermont Career Center has definitely allowed me to make a lot of steps and advancements in the field that I'm really dedicated towards a lot earlier than I would have otherwise. The program's given me invaluable experience, both in the field, in my community, and as a team. To just be able to advance and head start in my career at an early age. I chose to attend CVCC for many different reasons. I was having challenges of some struggles in a traditional high school setting, as a lot of people do. And I knew that I wanted to change something so that I would be able to succeed and to find something that I was passionate about. The summer before I chose to attend CVCC, I did a wilderness first aid course, which really kind of sparked my interest in EMS and in the medical field. And then with that in mind, I kind of made that decision to apply to CVCC, where I've really just gained all that valuable experience. And I attended the emergency services program. I'm very, very grateful that I made that decision, that I made that choice, because it really has changed my life and made just a lot of positive effects on me, and just a big thanks to the Central Vermont Career Center, because that was a really, really amazing opportunity that I had. Thank you so much for hearing what I have to say.
Yeah.
So do you volunteer with your local EMS?
Yeah, so I work with Barrytown EMS, and then I also do volunteer work with Waterbury Ambulance Service.
I have passed. I was in EMT.
Oh, were you? Oh, that's amazing.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a really, really rewarding career for sure.
Senator Weeks.
So, welcome. Thanks for testifying. So I'm not probably as familiar with the program as it should be, but it helps out, help out. You're essentially high school age.
Yep.
Yeah. And how many colleagues are with you in your program?
At the Career Center, there are 4 of us in our program. And then at the college, there's 20 20 some odd students. I don't know the exact
So
number.
4 from your school, your high school,
Yes.
go over to the larger program of 20 odd, 20 or so.
That's correct.
And then, so how does the program assist you qualification wise in transitioning to a, career path, certifications and such? Just because again, so I'm not an EMT and I'm curious.
So during the first year of the program, we all trained to get our EMT basic certification. So I'm licensed at both the national scope and at the state level to perform as an EMT. We also got additional certifications. I got my hazmat awareness, ICS, CPR, some other certifications that help you advance into the field. And now in the second year, we're working towards our paramedic license, which is much more advanced scope of practice. So at the end of the program, we certified as a paramedic, again, both nationally and in the state, and be able to practice at that level.
Okay, good. And
How
then-
many credits will you have?
I believe it's 38 credits at the end of the program, college
30.
credits. 38,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
wow. 38 credits, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you finish the program
Mhm.
and you're done with your qualifications, do you have a vision like 5 years from now, what you want to be doing?
Yeah, so I would like to continue working in emergency services. I really enjoy pre-hospital medicine. I would like to get I would love to be a flight paramedic, to work on the helicopters. I find that really, actually at the Career Center, we got to go HOSA. We met with DART, which is the flight medic service in the area. And we got to see their helicopters and talk with their flight paramedics and flight nurses. And that it was actual spark, like this is something I would love to do. It's very like a critical care level service. So it's a,
Okay, cool, all good, thank you, appreciate it.
thank you.
Nice.
I haven't gotten to say thank you, Eleanor. Thank you so much for that incredible testimony. You did an amazing job, and not everyone gets to get grilled by a Senate committee, so you're doing really well. It just sounds like you've made the most of what has been offered to you in the form of this great technical education. So many congratulations. I wish you luck on your journey. And feel free to swing back around in a couple of years and let us know how you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Okay, your composure under pressure is very commendable.
Amazing. I didn't,
Wasn't great.
it's gonna translate well, that's right.
Translates well,
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So next up, we have Rue Solisi. I can only say it the French way. How do we say it in English?
Well, that's the way to say it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's French. I mean, a lot of people missay it, so like me, but
So they
but
say
it's
solid.
Josephine.
Solisi, I know, it's beautiful. All right,
Thank you.
so Rue, which means street, by the way. That's such a cool name. All
Thank
right,
you.
yes, go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay. So my name is Rue Salini. I live in Roxbury, Vermont. I'm in the second year emergency service program at the Central Vermont Career Center. I started last year in Emergency Services 1, and I absolutely fell in love with EMS, and the community at the Career Center is really amazing. I finished that program last year, and at a EMT level, because of Vermont's laws around EMS, I'm required to practice only as an emergency medical responder, which is a lower level than both my education and qualifications until I turn 18. In EMS 2, we were training to be paramedics and are taking the knowledge that we learned last year a lot further. Along with having the opportunity to be a paramedic, we'll be graduating high school with 38 college credits. And I made the decision to leave my high school sophomore year to attend the Career Center for a lot of reasons. My really deciding factor was the community and collaboration that happens at the Career Center. All the programs there learn how to help each other and work together, from electrical to EMS and all those things. And another reason I decided to attend the Central Vermont Career Center is to pursue my childhood dreams of joining the healthcare system and give back to my community. I'm currently working as an EMR in the Northfield Ambulance Station. And in my future, I would see myself as also being a flight paramedic. And I'm well on that journey because of the Career Center. So, yeah. Thank you.
Very impressive. Do my colleagues have any questions? Senator Weeks?
So I think you guys are probably the best recruiting tools for your school. I'm wondering if you talk to your friends, and in particular, folks might be a year or 2 years younger than you, about what you're experiencing with the program, all the positive gains and benefits.
So I'm actually in student leadership at the Career Center. And I was asked to do a panel at Montpelier High School, which is my second high school, to talk to 10th graders about flexible pathways. And I was able to join that panel and talk to a large group of 10th graders about options at the Career Center. And I think that was a really great opportunity of reaching out to younger folks and trying to get them into the Career Center to have these like really great opportunities.
Phenomenal.
Yes,
Like,
sure, go
I
ahead.
could
follow
follow
up.
on.
Yeah.
So there's discussion in this committee and in the State House about potentially expanding CTE programs to sophomore and freshmen in high school to kind of like, introduce, maybe not full time, but at least there's introductions, there's programs which introduce folks in, the field that you're studying in now and maybe some other collateral fields, just so they get a sense of what happens in the CTEs. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are about if you have been introduced or you had the option to be introduced earlier in your high school career, would you have taken that, or are you satisfied that the path that was available to you is sufficient?
I think I feel kind of two ways about that. At the Career Center, we have a class which is exploratory, where students in that are, I think, at sophomore level, and they kind of shadow each and every class at the Career Center to kind of get an idea of what they want to do and if the Career Center is the place for them. And I think that's a really great opportunity. I think for me specifically, if I were to jump into emergency services as a freshman, probably would be really intimidated because it's a lot of, book work and you really have to stay focused on your schoolwork. So I think, we have a great support system at the Career Center for, homework and things like that. But I do think that there are some programs that my prior information about, sophomore, freshman and sophomore workload and things like that was very helpful to have before starting my class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yes, I can meet you too.
Senator Williams, did you want to?
No, I just wondering, do you guys partner with UDM? They had an urban medicine class where that's how I got qualified as a too.
We partner with Vermont State University right now,
Okay.
and Carl and I co-signed a letter that's at the end of your packet that relates to some of the difficulties we're having with that. We're not really speaking to that today.
Okay.
But that has provided the opportunity. So Carl is an instructor in that paramedicine program. So that's all of these students go up to Williston campus every Thursday to work with the college students, the 20 plus other students from Vermont State University that are in the program. So they're doing the same rigorous curriculum. The difference is they have the additional supports of being in our classroom the other 4 days a week to get support from Carl and to go a little deeper into that work that they're doing and if they have questions to work through that. Whereas their college peers do not have that.
And I also have experience with DART as a patient. I won't get into it, they saved my life. So every time I go to Dartmouth Hitchcock, I stop and say hi. The faces have all changed, but my story's still probably.
Yes, Senator.
Okay, I just wanted another general question, which might be directed more towards adults, facilitators. Has the military shown an interest? As two veterans here, we're always curious about how the military services may be like curious of your program, or if there's an advantage, you know, any kind of linkage or interaction?
I would say last year was this is the second year of this program. It's the
Oh.
only one in the state at the high school level.
Good on.
Our pilot program last year, we had only 2 students in, and Carl actually taught the first year and second year at the same time. And one of those students has joined the military, so there's that piece. We had a former emergency services student visit us in 2020, December of 2020, and who's on the UVM critical care team and had the helicopter. And so they did a helicopter training at the Career Center, and he was able to facilitate several different trainings for students who were in the program at that time. Maybe we can bring him back. He's been deployed, so I don't know if he's back yet. But that's the only interest I've been aware of.
There is one of my best friend, I should say. He is full-time in the Guard and I think Air Guard now. He's transitioned back and forth a couple times, but he's in and he has talked to me about coming. He's gone to some of the other CTE centers and has done some work with them and stuff, and it reached out to me about coming to ours and talking to them, talking to students about options that they could have, you know, if they were thinking about the military or, you know, and just kind of doing some presentations and stuff. So there is that kind of connection.
Okay.
We're working on that connection.
I also would add that in our program at the college, there's a few of our students there who are in our program who have served in the military. And we also, at the beginning of our semester, last semester, we had a few people from the military come and kind of speak about opportunities that there are. And yeah, so I think they like that.
Yes, Senator.
So I had a friend of mine who came to me, his daughter was thinking about getting, she wanted to be an aerial flight nurse.
Mhm.
And, so I went and talked to her, next thing you know, she joined the Vermont Guard.
Mhm.
And got her certification, and she came back to Vermont, she's working EMS, and she's in the Guard, so.
Wow.
Twice the citizen.
The Vermont
Yeah.
Guard is getting a little extra publicity today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, committee.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, Rue, thank you.
Yeah.
Rue,
Thanks.
thank you so much. Amazing testimony. I did the math, and if you're looking at average credit costs in the country is around $477 per credit. So the two of you have, you know, basically banked close to $20,000. So I applaud you also on your fiscal responsibilities along with everything else. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, this is, so what an inspiring day we're having today. This is good. We now have Mackenzie Williams. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm Mackenzie. I live in Berlin. I'm also in the second year of the Emergency Services program at the Career Center. I personally have always struggled in a typical, not even just high school, but a typical school setting, just because there wasn't enough movement for me and it didn't really fit to my learning style. But my school counselor suggested the Career Center in EMS for me because I had a very prominent interest in medicine, and that's been that way for my whole life. Last year, I was able to meet new people in the EMS1 program. I expanded my knowledge greatly on the topic I was passionate about, and I started working as an EMR at 16 years old. And this gave me a whole new sense of purpose and led me to the Emergency Services 2 program, which is also allowing me to follow my passion and help others in my community. And I think coming to CVCC was the best decision that I've ever made in my life because it's so beneficial to students like me who struggle sitting in the classroom all day because I get the chance to do a lot of hands-on learning and I get to go to work as an EMT like during my school days, and that counts towards my credits. And I'm always supported by all of my teachers and my coworkers. And I've had the great opportunity to work with Waterbury Ambulance for the past 7 months now. And I've worked with some of the most dedicated people and I've learned a lot. And I would also like to be a flight paramedic one day if I get the opportunity to. And that's
You grew up.
where I want to go.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you so much for your testimony. Do my colleagues have any questions?
All
Yeah.
3 stories are very compelling.
They really are, Mackenzie, thank you. I feel as though we owe all of you a debt of gratitude for stepping up and doing this hard work. It's not easy. And we really appreciate it. You may someday save one of us. We are forever indebted. And again, like, we hope to see you again sometime and wish you the best of luck. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and I have, let's see, it looks like Carl, you're. If you wanna come up?
Sure.
Talk about the program and
Yeah,
why.
tell us about this fascinating program.
I didn't have anything really prepared like my students did, because I've been helping them all morning to get prepared, but, so I'm Carl Madison, I'm the emergency services instructor at Central Vermont Career Center. This is my 5th year teaching there. And in a week, it'll be my 35th year in EMS. And I just really, it's just kind of an opportunity that I never thought that I would have to teach, in this realm and stuff. I've been teaching for just over 30 years too, in various EMS programs. But I also started when I was a sophomore in high school, like 15. So it's like a full circle moment for me to be able to teach these guys that were the age when I started out and stuff, and to inspire and, get that next generation of EMS providers in our system, at a time when, our EMS system is struggling hugely right now and stuff. The numbers say that our EMS providers in the state has been kind of flat over the last 35 years that I've been doing it, but our call volume has significantly increased in that period of time. And we've lost close to 20 EMS services in that 30-year period that have had to close their doors for various reasons and such. That you were at 90, it's like 15, but we were at like 92 and we're down to like 77 now. Ambulance transport services in the state. So it's a huge need to, help build up our workforce, and, these guys are our future and our future workforce. And so we definitely need them, and the program is very, I think, very beneficial. And as Jody said, we're the only one doing the 2nd year program in the state. There's a couple other of the tech centers that are doing the EMT level programs. And we're also, in my research, I couldn't find any other place that is actually starting high school seniors at the paramedic level and doing that in the country. So there are some CTE centers across the country that have 2nd year EMS programs, but they're either continuing with the EMT program or doing the intermediate step in between EMT and paramedic. But I could not find any other program that's allowing these guys to do, paramedic school as seniors, which is huge. And if I had that opportunity when I was in high school, and my best friend and I talk about this all the time, that, talking about who's in the Air Guard, like, if we had these opportunities when we were there, my students' ages, we would have loved to have that. And, we both started when we were in high school, but we had to do it kind of on our own, and we're our own kind of supports and stuff. Whereas these guys have support at the Career Center, and they're with me, 4 days a week, and then the 1 day we go to the lab at Williston and work with other paramedic students and stuff. So they get not only my support, but on those lab days, they get the support of other students in the cohort class that we have, and other instructors. So it's, I think, a huge benefit to them and to the, with this ultimate goal of kind of strengthening our EMS workforce.
Wonderful. Right, yes,
Well,
Senator.
go ahead.
I was just, my quick question that came in up was, does this count as early college? No, okay.
No.
That's
No,
fine.
CTEs are required to provide industry recognized credentials or credits
Right.
for their students. It's an offer that they have. They don't necessarily all get them, but it's an opportunity. And each year it kind of builds a little bit. So next year there are more required. This course is obviously above and beyond those requirements and what it provides, but
Yeah, I just remember when I was teaching at the tech center in Essex, at a high school there, that there were some students who were at the Williston campus who were doing, early college. That's why I was wondering about that, but I know that campus does a whole bunch of stuff, so.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome, thank you. Senator Williams.
So paramedic, that's a pretty good jump. That's a pretty tough course. I actually looked into it. And, so just prep them like a paramedic prep for the national paramedic certification or?
so the students who be here are high school students and college students and out on the job at night. So,
They are actively taking the paramedic course. So they are, yeah. So
Yeah.
when they are done,
without,
they will not be fully through the course by the end of their, high school career, but they will be 2/3 of the way through the paramedic program. So they'll have part of the summer semester and then the following fall semester is when they do their intensive field internship. And then once they complete that, they're completely done. So most of the program is they are doing with us at the tech center and with our supports. And really in the end, the students will only be paying like $250 out of pocket. Yeah.
I had a friend that became paramedic. He was trying to get me to get involved in it, but he actually had to go, I think, to New Hampshire to get certified. Maybe Dartmouth.
Yeah.
Program.
Yes, Senator Weeks.
So, question for Carl. So I applaud you for making the transition from one career path to the career path which you're at now at the center, supporting students and such. We understand from conversations about CTE that it's difficult to attract instructors such as yourself because there's a apparent pay disparity between the two opportunities. Do you want to comment on that, or is that relevant?
It's not totally relevant to me. I know that is a huge issue for a lot of the career fields, and especially that CTE does, because I know especially some of the trades, they can make a lot more working in their area of expertise than teaching. That I've been teaching, for most of my career. I became a CPR instructor when I was a senior in high school. So, I started doing, teaching early. So it's something that's always been a passion of mine too, along with, the clinical side of taking care of patients. And, and I've done, other roles, I've been an administrator, not one of my favorite jobs, but I did it for a number of years and, so I've kind of worked the spectrum of, jobs throughout my career and stuff, and by far, taking care of patients and teaching new students is by far my passion of it and stuff. Could I go back to industry and make more, depending on what I'm doing? But I would have to work probably a lot harder than I am now, to be honest and stuff. But I know there is that discrepancy between working actually out in the fields in a lot of the career areas as opposed to teaching and stuff. So that is I know a concern of a number of my colleagues and stuff.
Right.
So,
you also have a master's degree, so that sets you in the educational field. That traditionally sets you apart from industry professionals without a degree.
Yeah, okay, interesting. You mentioned call volume going up.
Mhm.
Do you have a percentage over, just some kind of thumbnail.
Let's see, so I wanna. If memory serves me, we were across the state as a whole, and when I first started, I think we were doing 160 or 70,000 calls a year. Now across the state as a whole, we're 230, 140,000 calls a year. And we're doing it with the same number in the workforce, or at least on paper, the same number. You know, I wouldn't know, I don't have the number of how many of those, 2,800 EMS providers at all levels that we have in the state that are actually active or how active. And that's across from, volunteer, and career EMS providers in the state. So, we have a lot more services that have transitioned from being fully volunteer to kind of being a hybrid service where they have some volunteers, some paid staff, and then some have, used that as a stepping stone and have had to go to be fully paid career staff because they just didn't have the means the volunteer support to maintain and stuff. The services that couldn't afford to maintain, career staff 24/7 and didn't have the volunteers. That was one of the main reasons, like a number of services have had to choose to not operate anymore. So because of lack of that, and it ties into funding and reimbursement, which is another whole bill on the House side that I know is kicked around and stuff that I've been in on some meetings with as well. So it all kind of ties together.
Speaking about those in the field, 2 of the students actually are scheduled right now to be working. And so they all carpool together and we're gonna let them go.
Oh,
They can get
gosh,
to work
yeah,
a little late.
absolutely.
Their
Thank you so
bosses were
much.
understanding.
Thank you very much for being here. Feel free to exit stage right at any time. Can you stay, Jody?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. So, if no one else has questions for Carl, we can move on to Jody.
I have a question for Joe.
Okay,
You have a spiel? You got a baby or?
yes, I got
I
PowerPoint, we're gonna bring it up. Yeah.
Well,
Carl,
thank you.
thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Actually, no, that's not my
Good luck with
PowerPoint.
everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Be
You
safe
don't need to
out
bring the
there.
PowerPoint up.
you. Oh, I already asked.
Oh, because that's what the students are presenting. So our students, because it's the only one in the program in the state, and because there are some other programs that allow students to get EMTs,
Yeah.
they put together a presentation that they're bringing to those other CTEs
Oh,
to
great.
share with those students so that they could apply to the program for next year. So
Oh,
we continue to grow.
It really looks great, but
So
okay.
they put that
I guess
together,
we won't
not me.
take that. Sorry, Morgan. Maybe after, if there's time, we could throw it up so people can take a look. But
Absolutely.
yes, so Jody, you are the director and you're gonna introduce, I should have been having everyone introduce themselves, right? So, Jody, could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, Jody Emerson, Superintendent Director of the Central Vermont Career Center.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We look forward to hearing from you. We have at least one question queued up already.
I was actually just taking a few notes really quickly. I wanted to talk again about the students are literally working in those ambulances services in the afternoons and evenings. They're coming into school. One day, Kenzie came in and she's like, we had 2 DOAs last night. She's coming in dealing with that. So Carl, while he's instructing them in paramedicine, is also supporting them through the things that they're dealing with in the evenings when they're working on these crews. And so I think that's phenomenal. And when we think about these students who said, 2 out of the 3 said that their high school wasn't meeting their needs, they were struggling. And then they come here and they're doing this extremely rigorous curriculum and they're out serving their communities in the evenings. It's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
really.
Which of the 3 young ladies experienced that last night?
It wasn't last night, but recently, Mackenzie.
Lindsay, the third one
Yeah.
that spoke.
And I also ran into her, she was serving at one of the flu clinics, where they were doing vaccinations, so they're showing up all over, supporting our community and all the folks in it, so I really appreciate them, and I'm glad they got the chance to speak. You think that I was here last year in this seat, and there were some folks from Vermont State University, VTC, Vermont State University, talking about what they were doing in Merge. And I was sharing with you that we were working on a health sciences proposal that would start in ninth grade and get kids to an associate level or paramedicine when they're graduating high school. And so this is the example of that we've been working on with them. And I think there was, speaking to the industry professional part, my center has just settled a collective bargaining agreement, so we are a step closer than we have been in the past to better pay for industry professionals. But it can be difficult for many of our industry professionals who are coming straight out of the workforce, 20 years or more experience, and they don't have a college degree because they went straight in. Maybe they have a master plumber or master electrician license. And so how do you equate that? So I think we're getting closer in some places than others as to making sure that that's a little more equitable. It's still not gonna meet the industry level of pay.
Good, that's great.
Was that gonna be your question?
No.
That's a great thing to point out, that teachers are often not compensated the same as their peers in the private sector, for the same amount of education and experience, so, yeah. Thank you for highlighting that.
And
for us.
just for me, I have to maintain my paramedic license and all my credentials in order to teach. So I can't just stop working in the field and do nothing with my, EMS side. I still have to maintain all of that, and I still actively work in the field, probably at least one day a week. On the weekends, I still run on the ambulances and still to keep up
During
my
breaks.
skills sharp and stuff. So, because I feel like I need to do that in order to, best teach my students and stuff. So,
Yeah.
so there is that extra layer as well of like, it's not just maintaining our teaching license and then just doing this, at least for me, I have this whole other side that I have to maintain as well.
Thank you, Carl.
Right, and you're often filling in weekends, breaks. This summer you were the interim person in
Director.
charge, director of Berrytown Ambulance, so like they're all doing a lot, yeah.
Senator, did you?
First, I just want to apologize. I missed the first part of the testimony. I had a meeting that was supposed to conclude when you guys started, but it went longer. But either way, thank you for being here, and actually wanted to ask about the licensure and what you were just describing, and I can see it. Yeah, I can see the pros and cons to it, and I was with maintaining a present or an idea of what the present requirements are and what's happening in the field, but then also having to work that job while also teaching. And do you have any thoughts or input on a way to make that just easier for you or other teachers? Yes.
I think, good question. And actually, I think having some support, and we get, I think I think there's more support for keeping our teaching licenses and those credentials, but having kind of more support for keeping our industry credentials would be helpful as well, because that's generally, time and money that I end up doing to keep up those credentials. The working piece, it depends on the career field, whether they're required, whether they need to work outside of teaching to keep up their credentials and stuff. Some, just teaching in their field is enough to keep up their credentials. The way, in order for me to hold a license and to hold my, national paramedic certification, I have to be actively working in the field. It's just the way the system is set up and stuff. And I wouldn't want to stop taking care of patients because that's,
Is that on the federal level or state level? To
both.
continue work? Okay.
Both. So the National Registry of EMTs is the certification body that we go through to, for the renewal process, and then the state licenses us to be providers within the state to be able to do what we do and stuff. So, but at both levels, it's required. plus I have to have an active EMS instructor license separate from my state teaching license to be able to teach EMS programs and stuff. So I have to be an active EMS provider in the state to keep that my instructor license as well. So there's lots of layers that I think people don't realize that go along with some of it and stuff. And same way with a lot of the health science programs as well, because for those that do like LNA and stuff that have nurses teaching in their programs, those nurses have to work in order to maintain their nursing license, and they have to maintain their nursing license to be able to teach like the LNA programs that are in the tech centers. So it's and just teaching at a CTE center isn't enough for the state board of nursing to allow them to keep their, just that to be the credit, check the box that they've worked in nursing enough to do that. They have to work in some sort of nursing role.
That might be
outside.
something we could work on at some point, maybe.
It's super complicated, right?
Streamlining.
Because
Yeah.
all of the different programs that we might have in CTEs across the state, there are different requirements for each of those individuals.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't understand that you have to have sort of your teaching credentials plus your, what do we call it?
Professional.
Professional credentials, so it's like multi-layered, yeah. Yeah, wow, Jody, you didn't have prepared remarks today, or?
I could talk for hours.
Yeah.
And we did include a letter that I had sent out to basically our legislators for the CVCC region. I decided to just share it with you. We updated it a little bit. Just so you could see some outreach that we had done earlier this year around trying to support our students as they participate in PTSU.
Okay, great, and that's after the PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, yes, Senator.
Okay, so Jody, as an administrator for these phenomenal programs, we've heard comment about differences in calendars between sending schools and in your center or centers like yours.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't pick up on if the three young ladies were all from the same school or not, but in any case, any thoughts on calendar coordination and that kind of thing as a state?
It would be great. It really would. There are 3 different sending schools who are represented here. So we had Spalding U32 and Montpelier represented here. For the most part in our region, the Winooski Valley Superintendent's region, we do work pretty well together, and my sending high schools and I got together and looked at the calendar last year and pretty close. There's just a couple of days that are off. I don't have the same thing that's going on with some of our other centers that are getting kids from 2 different schools that have 2 very different breaks, for example. So all of my sending schools have the same breaks. They might have a week at Thanksgiving or 3 days at Thanksgiving type of thing, or 1 day here and there for PD. We have one of our sending schools that lets out at early every Wednesday, and so the kids end up leaving early. They leave us early to get back to that school to do their afternoon classes. So that has a little bit of an impact, but some of my colleagues across the state are dealing with their students get no breaks. This year, we also tried to align a little bit with the Vermont State University calendar, just to make sure that our students who are doing the programs with them have a break, because they were last year they were in school with us, and then when we had a break, they still had their Vermont State University course. And when the Vermont State University had a break, we were still in session, so we aligned a little better this year to that. But a state calendar would be great, and it would also allow us for CTEs, for us to have those professional development days across the state, where all of my health sciences teachers can get together with those across the state, with automotive teachers can all get together. Right now, they do that. Once a semester, they get together. Recently it's been at Lake Maury for a day and do professional development. That's how they created, we have a statewide system of proficiencies for CTE. So the teachers created that in that process. But right now, the way they do it is they're away when our kids are still there. So we have subs in the programs on those days, and the kids aren't getting the same level. Our lab assistants are the ones that sub, so they're in every day and they're doing a pretty good job of trying to maintain. is still not the same thing as having the instructor there.
And then just another general question. So you have your students half a day for 4 days or all day for those 4 days?
So I have them in class from Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 12:30. Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then on Thursdays, all of us, me and the 4 students are at the Williston BTSU campus from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they're more than a full day. So they're above the rest of their, the other students in our centers at the hours that they put in for the.
We're considered a full day center or 4-hour program. A half day center is a 2-hour program. So that's the difference between them. And then some of our centers have full day with academics. And some of them have other opportunities in there. So our kids are with us from 8:30 to 12:30 in program, then they're able to get lunch in our cafeteria before they go back to the sending schools. And it's considered a full day in CTE world, but it's obviously not a full school day. So they're heading back to their sending schools to get whatever they still need as far as proficiencies that they can't get from our programs, and then going on to whatever else. I think all of these students happen to not have classes at their sending schools right now, because they're seniors and they've completed a lot of those proficiencies.
Thank you so much, Jody. Really appreciate it. And Carl, I see one more question.
Just a statement, volunteers are twice the citizen. And unfortunately, EMS, fire service, you don't have that many paid services in the state of Vermont, so they, not only they have to get their, take away from their family to get the certification, but they also have to volunteer to keep their certification up, so, I'd like to eventually make it not necessarily profitable, but at least reimburse them for, and I've got an idea for a bill, which is probably next year. Hopefully.
I know that Carl's working with Waterbury Ambulance to look at an apprenticeship program so that they could get some pay for more people there.
And what happens a lot of times, if you get a really sharp young person that's fully certified, they poach them. Somebody in a paid service will grab them and they'll end up moving to a different service so they can get full-time pay, so.
Yeah.
Right.
No, thank you for sharing that, Senator Williams. Thank you very much, Jody. Thank
Thanks
you,
for-
Carl. Really, you're doing incredible work and we so appreciate it.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
Yeah.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, you too.
So maybe we will take a break before we start our next piece, which is coming up very quickly. We're going to talk about reading assessment and intervention.